What is going on, everybody? It's your boy Sonny here, coming at you guys with another Neverwinter video. And by the title and thumbnail, you already know why you clicked on, but we're going to be doing the tier list for weapon enchantments. Now, this is going to be a two-part video. I'm going to do weapon enchantments and then armor enchantments. I'm not sure which one I'm going to upload first. I was going to try to combine them, but I feel like there's too many to cover in just one video, and I don't want to make the video too long for you guys. So yeah, without further ado, let's just go ahead and just jump straight into it. Okay, first things first, we're going to talk about the Bioforn, okay? Bioforn, your at-wills and encounters and daily powers deal 5% bonus damage as poison damage. Target enemy takes magnitude 40 weapon damage as poison damage after 4 seconds. Target movement speed is reduced by 7%. This stacks up to 3 times and lasts for 4 seconds. Okay. I'm going to, as you guys know, obviously, Bioforn is in the top tier category. This is one of the best enchantments for Tom. In longer boss fight situation, if you can afford it, Bioforn, by all means, is the top dog. Unfortunately, nothing else competes with it at the moment. That's just how it works. Moving on, Bronzewood. This is another top tier enchantment. And here you go why. Your at-wills, encounter, and daily powers deal 5% bonus damage as arcane damage. That's not the big thing here. The big thing is targets struck by your encounter powers become marked for 10 seconds. Marked targets will take 10% more damage from you and your allies, and marked targets receive minus 3,000 deflection. This can only occur once every 20 seconds. Okay? These are one of the enchantments that are a must-have for one, if you're in a group and you're looking to maximize runtime or maximum debuffs, you at least need one person to run the Bronzewood just for that effect alone. They do not stack, so just be wary of that when you are going through it. But yeah, that's another one top tier. Now these two right here are expensive, okay? But like I said, they're best in slot at the moment. I wouldn't recommend the Bronzewood on a DPS. This would be more for a tank, just because there are better options for a DPS out there. So this is going to go on a tank or anything like that support-wise. Moving on, next we have the Dread. I would say the Dread, believe it or not, I put it at middle ground. A lot of people call it the poor man's Bioforn. I was going to put it at low end, but I'll put it at middle ground. It's one of those enchantments that you can do with, but of course it's not going to be as good as the other ones. So I won't put it at the low end. But here, just to break it down, your at-wills, encounter, and daily powers do 5% bonus damage as necrotic. Targets enemies is dealt 10% weapon magnitude as necrotic damage every second for 4 seconds, and reduce target's defense by 3,000. So that's a nice debuff there. Nothing too crazy. That minus 3,000 defense is a pretty, what is it, 3,000? Yeah, 3,000 is a pretty nice cushion there. So it's not a bad enchantment. It's really not. In terms of, is it best in slot? Of course not. But for those of you guys who are making your way up there to best in slot, it's not a bad choice to go ahead and pick up in the meantime. Fey Touch, I'm going to put towards the low-end spectrum. I wouldn't really suggest picking this up unless it's like an absolute must. And here's your reasons why. Your at-will and encounter power dailies do 5% bonus damage as physical damage. Your daily power decreases target's damage dealt by 10% and inflicted 3,000 deflection rating. This effect lasts 10 seconds and can only occur once every 30 seconds. That is the big problem right there. That 5% of damage as physical, as psychic. Did I say physical before, or did I say? I don't think I said psychic. My apologies. It says psychic damage. And it only happens once every 30 seconds for the debuff. So I would only put this at the absolute low end. Just buy this if you just need a weapon enchantment to get you through. Nothing too crazy about this one. Moving on to the next one is the Flamin'. And I am actually going to put this in middle ground. Your boy Sonny actually rocked this for a hot minute. I used it in LOM. I used it in Tom. And believe it or not, I actually did some substantial DPS with it. It does, your at-wills, encounters, and daily do bonus 5% damage as fire damage. Your bonus foe for magnitude is 2.5 weapon damage as fire damage for 1 second for 3 seconds. Burning foes receive minus 1000 critical avoidance that stacks up to 3 times. If the foe is affected by 3 stacks, your at-will encounter and daily powers cause the target to explode, dealing magnitude of 75%, 75 weapon damage as fire damage to nearby foe. This effect may occur no more than once every 20 seconds. Whoa, that was a lot there. But to break it down, it's a really good enchantment. It looks dope. I've actually used it and I've done well with it, so I'm going to put it in the middle ground. It's one of those where, like I said, if you're looking for something, you don't have the money for these top tier ones, but you don't want low end too, you want to go for the middle ground. A flaming isn't a bad choice at all. Moving on to the frost, your at-wills, encounter, and daily powers deal 5% bonus. You apply 30% slow and 15% speed. And, you know, this one, honestly, this is another one that is like low end to don't buy range. I'm going to put it in don't buy. Truthfully, I'd skip over this one. I'd rather pick up a Fey Touch over the Frost. You don't see anybody really running this for that specific reason. You know, it does give the 5% bonus damage as cold, but the secondary tooltip does absolutely nothing for nobody. You know, recharge your speed reduction to your target. You know, it's PvP. And even then, this isn't a really good option in PvP. This isn't a top tier PvP enchantment either. So it's like, it's not a good PvE enchantment and it's not a good PvP enchantment. So I wouldn't even buy it. The next one is the Holy Avenger. This is another one that's a little finicky. But here you go. Your at-will encounter and daily powers deal 5% bonus damage as radiant and have a 10% chance to improve your allies' defense by 15,000. Wait. And have a chance to improve your ally, by 15,000 while healing them for a magnitude of 50 weapon damage each second for 10 seconds. This can only activate every 15 seconds, okay? I would put this in the middle ground, okay? I wouldn't put it in the low end spectrum. It's not a viable choice for a DPS class. I'd put this more on any type of healer. Somebody out there. Now, of course, there are better options, and we'll discuss that later on in the video. But for right now, you know, this is one of those enchantments that isn't bad for clerics and healers, but there's also better options out there. So I'm not sure on the price of this. If it's cheaper than the other option we're going to talk about, I definitely pick it up until you get the secondary option. But I don't want to put it at low end. I do see some people running it every now and then. And truthfully, it's not terrible, right? It's not Fade Touch level, and it's don't buy, in my opinion. Moving on to the Livedrinker. This is one of those, I don't care, you don't buy it. They still didn't fix the tooltip. Your at-will encounter and daily powers deal 5% bonus damage as necrotic damage. Increase your lifesteal chance by 5%. There's no lifesteal chance in the game. There's no more lifesteal, so I don't know what the hell they're talking about here. I wouldn't even bother picking this up. We're not even done, though. When you activate an at-will encounter and daily power, you have 5% chance to double this enchantment's lifesteal chance for 10 seconds. There's no lifesteal in the game, so I don't know how this works. I'm just going to say don't buy it. I haven't tested it. I don't know if this weapon enchantment has less like straight lifesteal on it, or it's just something you can't see on your stats. I don't know. I wouldn't take that chance and spending money on a 13 or 14 and testing it out, so I wouldn't recommend it. Moving on to the Lightning, top tier. Everybody knows that. This is probably this is the best in slot weapon enchantments for mobs, obviously, and for this specific reason. Your at-will encounter and daily powers deal 5% bonus damage as lightning damage, right? When you strike a foe, you have a 50% chance of arcing bolts of lightning. Sorry, I'm reading the tooltip. Arc bolts to chance to deal 50% weapon damage. This can chain up to 3 times, okay? Obviously, everybody probably knows what this is. And if you definitely want this for mobs, if you're looking to be best in slot, hands down, there's nothing that's better. Being able to just chain that lightning to multiple enemies and groups is insane. And the DPS from it is insane. So it does back it up. It's self-explanatory. It's definitely top tier. It's definitely it's a must-have for mobs, honestly. There's nothing else out there. Plague Fire. I'd put this on the low-end spectrum. And your at-will encounters deal 5% bonus as fire damage. You burn your foe for 2.5% weapon 2.5 weapon damage as fire damage. It's almost the same as the flaming. It just, in my opinion, does less damage as a whole for some reason. I don't know what it is. I feel like the tooltips are literally the same. And I think the bottom portion is. But for some reason, it doesn't do as much damage as the flaming. So I'm going to put it on the low end. I wouldn't say don't buy it. I don't know. I'm not, like I said, I truthfully don't know the prices for these. And for every platform, of course, it's obviously going to be different. So I put this on the low end. Definitely not something you want to pick up. If you're thinking you're going to be doing damage with it, you're not. It's just one of those things that you may be able to get for cheap that you can use until you get the middle ground or top tier enchantments, right? Moving on to the Prominence. This is one you don't buy. Same thing, 5% bonus damage on at-wills, encounters, and dailies, but damage as radiant damage and generate a shield equal to 20%. I don't know why I keep saying percent for 20 weapon damage. This effect may only stack up to 20 times in the last 10 seconds. When this effect reaches 20 stacks, it converts into Prominence. While Prominence deal 30 weapon damage, adds radiant damage to enemies within 40. They have that little asterisk mark. Every 3 seconds for 12 seconds during this, you may not gain additional shield effects. Okay, that's a lot of shit there. Basically, it's trash. This enchantment was literally good for like one mod, and then they just fucking dicked it over. And it was only good for, fast striking at will like the barbarians. Other than that, I wouldn't even recommend picking this up. So don't even waste your money. Even if it's dirt cheap, it's dirt cheap for a reason. Don't buy it. Let's, take your boy Sonny's advice there. Same thing with Terror. Another low-end enchantment, in my opinion. You deal 5% as daily. You deal... Your at-will daily and encounter powers deal 5% bonus damage as necrotic damage. Whenever you activate your daily power, your foe receives 3,000 decrease to awareness for 10 seconds. Your daily powers also have a 12% chance to root their target for 3 seconds. This effect may occur no more than once every 20 seconds. Nobody gets their daily back in 20 seconds. That's why this is at the lower end spectrum. This is one of those, like I said, you could buy dirt cheap. You're not going to be doing a lot of damage with it regardless. The secondary part of what I read there is pretty much obsolete. You barely use your dailies. And when you do use them, to only get minus 3,000 to awareness, that's garbage. Don't even bother. Last but not least, you already know Vorpal. Top tier, okay? Vorpal, your at-will, encounter, and daily powers deal 5% bonus damage as arcane damage, and their critical severity increases by 20%. When you activate a daily power, increase your critical strike by 3,000 for 10 seconds. Okay? This is hands down the best enchantment for single target short fights. So Lam, this is best in slot. Tom, it's a potential contender with the Bowthorn. The only problem is you have to just get through the dungeon with under 15 minutes or 14 minutes. I believe it's something like that. So if you don't beat the dungeon within 13 or 14 minutes, you're going to see a damage dip off between the Bowthorn and the Vorpal. But for any other dungeon that's short out there, definitely the best enchantment. In my personal opinion, best enchantment for a healer. That's why I said, the Holy Avenger is a nice supplement until you get the Vorpal. But in my opinion, I would pick the Vorpal over the Holy Avenger. But some people might like the Holy Avenger more. You know what I mean? But the critical severity off of this is nice. And just overall, you can probably get away with using this enchantment all the time and be consistently doing damage at a high rate. You might be able to do the same with the other three here, Bowthorn and Lightning. The only problem is when you start getting to bosses, you're going to see a decrease in the Lightning. And then for Bowthorn, if the fights ain't long enough, you're going to see a decrease there compared to the Vorpal. So it's one of those things where Vorpal is king. It just depends, right? So in my personal opinion, right, as you guys can see the tier list here, avoid these obvious three down below. I think the number one you should go for a DPS class or even a healer is the Vorpal. Okay, you definitely want the lightning for mobs. A Bioform to me is a luxury. It's not a necessity for Tom. It is nice to have if you want to do max DPS out there, and you want your name on the leaderboard, because if everybody else is using Bioforms and Tom and you're using a Vorpal, most likely they're gonna catch you in the long run. Bronzewort is a must-have for any tank out there who's trying to, tank. Honestly, if a tank has a Bronzewort on him, you're getting picked up, no doubt about it. Like I said, it doesn't stack though, so another option for a tank is Lightning to keep the aggro, or even a Vorpal. A Vorpal is really good for every class, unfortunately. Lightning is good for every class besides the cleric or healer. Bronzewood is good for tanks. Bioform is good for DPS. I don't see any tanks or clerics running it. Like I said, Dread is a poor man's Biothorn. Flaming is like a poor man's Vorpal, in my opinion. And the Holy is like a poor man's Vorpal. Again, just it has that added bonus effect of healing and increasing your defense. So this is not a bad support one, honestly. These lower end, I would only buy like low ranks of these. I wouldn't even buy 13s or 14s of these. It's not worth it. So save your money there. Instead, if you want to buy 13s and 14s, go for middle ground tier. And then once you get the money for top tier, obviously you want these ones. So yeah, let me know down in the comments what you guys think. If you have any more questions, just let me know. Now, I know this was a little kind of maybe not exactly what I thought this video was going to be, but hopefully I did explain it well enough. And yeah, I don't think there's anything left other than to say it's been your boy Sonny here. And as always, I will check you guys out in the next one. Peace out.